and even though there's no crowd, it felt like there were hundreds of people watching us, thousands of people watching us. It was crazy. But just being in the tunnel with my teammates, and we just like looked at each other and we're like, this is happening. We could potentially be gold medalists after this. That feeling, I can't even like describe it. It was so surreal. But that was probably one of my favorites, and not a feeling I'll maybe ever feel again. I'm Annie Flood. I am a freshman at Linfield this year. I play sitting volleyball for Team USA. I just went to Tokyo, competed in the Paralympic Games. It's my first games, and we won gold. And I am a nursing major. Yeah, so I started sitting when I was like 13, 14. But I played standing volleyball for my high school and middle school. So I started standing in 7th grade. And then I really liked it. I'd never played volleyball before, so it was really new to me. And then I found sitting volleyball at a amputee camp in Ohio. Yeah, so I was born with fibular hemimelia. It is a birth defect. It is kind of rare. I mean, it's one of the more common birth defects, but it's still pretty rare. I was born without my fibula bone in my right leg, and my femur was shorter. So I was born with 3 toes, and as I started to, learn how to walk and stuff as a baby, or try and walk, I was having a hard time with balance because I was missing a bone, my leg was shorter, and I was missing toes. So we chose to amputate because that's how they saw the most success for me in my future. And I got my foot amputated when I was 9 months old. Got my first prosthetic at 11 months old, and then I have been walking on a prosthetic ever since. So. But when I found sitting volleyball and when I started to learn more about what the Paralympics are, I didn't really like I didn't really want to be a part of it. I'd always seen myself as an able-bodied athlete. And so when I started playing sitting volleyball, it was very weird for me to kind of try and get used to, being around people like me, exactly like me, who love the sport as much as I do and who get to play it even though they are disabled. So I think if I didn't have sitting volleyball, or just if I didn't know about the Paralympics, I wouldn't be myself. Like, I would be a very different person because my disability is a huge part of who I am. It's always going to be. I don't really have any other choice. So in a way, I'm very, very grateful I let myself get past the not shame, just I was nervous about, taking my leg off to play and being in front of all these people and being on camera and people seeing my leg and stuff. But as soon as I started to embrace it, I found out that I really love my disability and I wouldn't change it at all. One of the coaches came up and asked if I would be interested in trying sitting, so they flew me out to Oklahoma, and I tried a training camp with a bunch of people who were new to the sport as well. You can't run, you can't jump, you can't even walk. I mean, you have to stay on the ground. You're basically completely relying on your core and your arm strength. I really didn't like it at first because it was so different, and I had never played a Paralympic sport because I've always wanted to just be a normal girl like everyone else. And so it took me a while, but then I started to really love it. I went to Brazil in 2017 for the Youth Pan American Games, and then I started training with the national team shortly after that. To be successful, I guess it's in your best interest to actually live there and train every day as a resident with the team in Oklahoma. And that's where the national team is located. So I decided to move to Oklahoma by myself. I was 17, and I moved across the country and lived there for my whole senior year and did school online. And I trained every day with them. I'm really close to my family, my parents, my sisters. We're all best friends. And so leaving them was really hard. But in the end, I feel like it's prepared me to be more independent, and also know that my family is a huge part of my life, and that is never going to change, and I appreciate the time I have with them. But yeah, it was really difficult, and I think it was definitely harder for them. I mean, it was super hard for me, but for them to be okay, we're sending you off to another state, it felt like another country. I felt so disconnected from them because I was so far away. But entering the village and seeing everything was crazy. I had never been in an environment like that before, so it was very a lot to take in, but yeah, it was like one of the best experiences of my life, getting there and being like, oh my gosh, I finally made it. We started training with masks and we practiced every day with them, lifted with them, so we got really used to wearing masks. News about the Olympics came out, the Olympics and Paralympics, how masks would not be required for the games, which was just not something we had been used to because we had been playing for almost a year with masks. So as a team, we decided to wear masks the whole time, potentially take them off at the end or for games, whatever, because if one of us got COVID or was deemed a close contact, that would really hurt our chances or just disqualify us from competing. So we weren't going to take any chances, and we had been used to playing with masks, so it was almost like a factor we didn't even want to add in. But all of our practices, all of our games, until the gold medal match, we wore a mask, and we were one of the only teams that did that. Taking off our mask was like one of the craziest feelings, and going onto the court without our masks and being actually able to see each other's faces. And we had a practice the day before, and it was our first practice without a mask. It was very weird. It was almost like emotional because we had done all the work, we had put in everything we have, like every ounce of us to this. And then it was like, this is it. Everything we've got is going right here, and whatever happens, happens. So yeah, I guess taking off the mask was kind of like, it's the last thing we got to do, and we're here, we made it. So yeah, it was a very cool feeling.
And Emma, brand new, winning the gold medal, served with an ace. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how this team feels?
22, 25, 19. The gold medal that they won for the first time in Rio.
Yeah, it's really cool, and the braille says Tokyo 2020, and then on the bottom it says Sitting Volleyball Women. And then right here, which is a cool fact that I didn't know before, like this week, so on bronze there's 3 dots right here, and then silver there's 2, and then gold there's 1 for the blind athletes who have like multiple medals and want to know which one's which. So yeah, here she is. In a perfect world, I would probably train 5 days a week here on my own. I would go to a gym and pass balls and stuff and set. And then I would lift on my own and submit videos to our coaching staff, and that would be kind of how I got my training in. And then once a month I will fly to Oklahoma and train there for a weekend. A big thing for me is like advocacy for the sport, because it's my whole life. Like this is everything in me is dedicated to this sport and to the Paralympic movement. And I think if young people, especially college students and people who are educated and want to know more about the world and be advocates for people, if they can learn about the Paralympic movement and kind of bring light to that, I think I would love for not just Linfield, but schools all around to do clinics or a trial for different Paralympic sports so that people can try them, and who knows, maybe you could actually qualify for one of these sports, you know? There's so many different like classifications that you might need. Like if you have a minor disability, you could qualify for a sport and you could love it. And I think that's something that's hard, is not many people, one, know about the sports and don't think that they could qualify for them. So yeah, I'd love to bring that to Linfield especially.